Well, we're almost a week into 2025 now, so I thought, what better way to welcome in the new year than to rank everything that I played last year? The list right now is in no particular order, but you know how a tier list works. Let's get into it. First off, Starfield. An interesting premise, but ruined by the fact that Bethesda does not put any effort into anything they make anymore. The characters were boring, the missions were uninteresting, the planets were just barren. It just was not very fun for me at all, and I had a frown on my face every second of the way. Counter-Strike 2, fine. I played it mostly last year, though it did come out the year before that. It's just a game that I'd only ever really put on to play with other people. That's where I see it. Window Kill. I think probably one of the most unique games I've ever played. Unfortunately, it doesn't save it too much because I've not played it as much as I'd like to. But it's pretty fun, pretty addictive, and I just think the way that it, works is very interesting. Content warning. A lot of fun. I like the sort of take that it had on what Lethal Company was doing. But it was very much like a sort of a fad game that we played for like a week or two and then never came back to. But being able to upload the videos that we took in-game to my computer was a nice little touch. Risk of Rain 2, another game like Counter-Strike that I had played a bit the year prior, but most of my gameplay was like this year, and I can't sing enough of this game's praises. It is so good. The unlockable characters and the unique way that you actually go about unlocking them, the unlockable abilities for them, even the very minuscule thing of playing on Monsoon to unlock like the additional skin adds so much replayability to me, and for that I think it has to jump itself into being our first top 5, jumping way past S and A immediately. Alright, so we're in our little Sonic block here. So let's start off with the first one I did play this year, with Sonic Adventure 2. Now, this would have ranked maybe about, I don't know, low B. Because when I played it earlier this year, I wasn't really enjoying myself, wasn't feeling it. Played it again just before Sonic 3 came out, and I did so much better. I think that was the big thing. I was playing better, and so I was enjoying the game better. And so it jumps from maybe a mid to low B for me to, it being the first A, and certainly being a high A, I feel at that. However, I can't really excuse Lost World. I just was not feeling it with this game. I'm not going to rank the Sonic games on their stories because they're not really supposed to be anything special. But this one did just... It wasn't great. That combined with not really liking any of the... each level having their own sort of gimmick. Didn't really rock with any of them. Apart from the 2 rail grind, exclusive ones. Those were a lot of fun because the platforming was really fun and really tight. But I think I got to drop it down in C, unfortunately. So to follow that stinker with, maybe my new favourite Sonic game is certainly an intriguing one. But, well, what can I say? Generations is fantastic, and this re-release somehow seemed to improve it for me. Going for the S ranks was a lot of fun. But the Shadow Generations portion, even though, not as long as I would have liked it to be, was near damn flawless. And I feel, not think, but also think, that that's how I want the games to control in the future. Shadow... then we have Unleashed, one of my childhood games I never actually ever finished prior to this. But it's good. And I hate to say it, guys, but the Werehog's fun. You guys just keep complaining. Granted, I would not have liked to have spent most of my playtime playing as him to get all the unlock medals for Jungle Joyride, but it was worth it. The soundtrack for Jungle Joyride is fucking great, and it's worth it just to get that and then Eggman Land back to back. And rounding out the Sonic section is Sonic Mania. A lot of people consider this to be, you know, maybe the best of the games. I don't think so. I think it might be because I don't really like 2D Sonic. But it was fun. Like, probably, I would say objectively the best game. But I don't think I really enjoyed it nearly as much as Shadow Generation, Sonic Unleashed, or Adventure 2. But still very good, so I'll give it an A. Whoops. Now, you may or may not be wondering why there's 2 entries for Elden Ring here. That's because they're 2 separate things. I should really have noted them, but yes, whatever. This one represents the Elden Ring Seamless Co-op mod. You know, the mod that allows for, you know, more consistency, you know, not having to re-summon players every time they die. And it's fun. I think it mostly struggles from Elden Ring's, in my opinion, kind of overtuned co-op scaling, where bosses kind of get ridiculous. But we didn't struggle too much. And overall, quite fun, but do need to definitely go back to it, so I'll give it an A. Helldivers, great. Honestly, just great. I'm not even going to try and, like, you know, pretend where it's going to go. It's easily an S tier. Not quite top 5, because we did stop playing it, unfortunately. But it's a lot of fun. The world is very interesting. The gameplay's fantastic. I love how involved the devs are with maintaining the experience and using the gameplay to tell a story with the main missions, like the ones that you're kind of directed to, whilst also allowing players to kind of just fight whatever front they want. I think that's really good. The Illuminates seem a little bit overtuned, but we've also not fought them much, so maybe we just need to understand what we're going up against. But I love to see that it's still going really strong. And it's a shame that it wasn't even, like, considered for Game of the Year. Lords of the Fallen, honestly, just a meh. Like, I'll chuck it right in B, because I do think it's better than what I've got here in C. It's just a fine Souls-like, mostly uninspired. The Axiom Umbral mechanic could have been interesting, but they mostly just use it for mild shortcuts, and then just make the rest of it really annoying with the constantly spawning enemies, and the Grim Reaper mechanic, so I don't have much to say, apart from the fact that it's way better than the 2014 version, but that's not exactly saying anything. Puyo Puyo, not much to really say, it's just a solid puzzle game. Got a little bit addicted to this one, but I've not played it in a bit, so I'm just going to chuck it in B, because it is a solid game all round. Ultra Kill was great, very, very addictive to get into. Was not a big fan of some of the latter levels. They kind of went against what I found fun about the game, with a lot of kind of standing around or dealing with needlessly annoying enemies. But, you know, I can't deny the fact that this was just a fantastic ride through and through. Power World, yeah, I'm not even going to, like, pretend this goes in D. Really did not care for it, did not mesh with it. Not a big fan of games like Ark. Not really a big fan of survival crafters anyway. Genuinely, the only exception is Minecraft. But it just felt like really soulless and hollow. But don't get me wrong, I am very happy that people enjoy it, and I'm very happy that it's still getting, like, content updates. I genuinely thought, when this released, it would be, like, ditched within a month, but I'm very happy to see that they're still continuing it. And speaking of trash, Overwatch 2. A game that I can't stop playing. You know, I hate this game. I really do. I hate the game, I hate the players. I hate the character balance and the devs behind the game, but most importantly, I hate myself for not putting it fucking down. So I really don't know how to rank this. I think, just for the sheer fact that I keep playing it, and 66 that dropped recently has tricked me into liking the game again, it's got to go in A, because, you know, it is something that I do continuously play. And then its contender, Marvel Rivals. Arguably a better game, but the balance annoys me a bit. I exclusively play Spider-Man, so that's probably why I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But I don't know, man. Going up against the Winter Soldier going, again! Again! And the Mantis insta-sleep. And so Star-Lord can go fuck himself so hard. But I enjoy it. I exclusively play Spider-Man, so that's why it gets an A, I think. Portal, honestly, really fun. I beat it in an evening because I was kind of bored. I had nothing else to really play, but I can see why such a cult following has built around this game, and I'm honestly kind of annoyed that I hadn't completed it sooner. I'd played it like a while ago, but never got around to finishing it. But yeah, I can definitely see the appeal. Right, so, web fishing. This game is too damn fun for what it is. It's just the Animal Crossing fishing minigame, but somehow, like... No, it's a little bit more than the Animal Crossing fishing minigame, but it goes to, like, S. Like, above all of these, unfortunately. Because it's more than just, like, the fishing. The community aspect's a lot of fun, and I think what's made the experience for me is the very interesting characters I've come across. But, you know, it's a chill game. It would be something that I would just put on after playing, like, Overwatch or whatever else for, like, an hour, and just chill out with a mate, fish, gamble. Gamble was a lot of fun. I don't know, just the community aspect was a lot of fun to me. Now we're in the Halo block, but not just any normal Halo block. This is the Lasso block, because I made the awful decision to convince my friends to do a playthrough of all the Halo games on the Master Chief Collection on Lasso. We haven't gotten around to 1 and 2. We are dreading that, because apparently they are nightmares. But these are the ones that we've done so far. We've only completed ODST so far, and it was fun. I think it's definitely the most fun I've had of any of them so far. But, you know, oh, sorry, Mania needs to go down here, I think. Actually, above ODST. But it was a lot of fun. We definitely got into a groove of distracting brutes, smacking them in the back, and going forward into, like, Reach and 4. ODST in 3 really kind of makes me miss how good the plasma pistol was in 3. As oh boy is it not good in those games, but ODST was fun. I think the only mission that we really struggled and raged with was the last one, whose name I'm forgetting right now. But it was so satisfying to finally get it in the end. Halo Reach, I think probably the best of the games that we've played altogether, but we've gotten into a bit of a groove with Reach. I still stand by preferring the brutes to the elites, but Reach has some better elites to deal with, I think, than Halo 4, certainly. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Definitely better than these two, I think. Halo 3, oh, Halo 3 Lasso. It was so good for so long. And I was standing by it being, you know, just the best Halo game, really. But then we got to the Covenant, and oh boy, the Covenant just has been hell. Feel free to tell me it's a skill issue, because it most certainly is, most likely. But oh my god, we've spent like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and barely get to the second tower, and then we just struggle for the rest of it. I think the furthest we got was after the Hornet section. Getting to the top of the second tower, we couldn't even make it that far. We were in such bad shape and getting absolutely railed by the bugs. It's just made the Covenant. The Covenant itself has brought Halo 3 down entirely. And conversely, Halo 4. Now, this is actually my first playthrough of Halo 4. I hadn't really played any of the Halo games prior to, like, a couple of years ago. But I had not touched Halo 4. And I hated it. Those first 2 levels sucked, in my opinion. They weren't very fun. And it's still been a massive, learning curve to try and get reused to the elites in this game. And the elites on Lasso are not fun whatsoever. And for the most part, just with the game itself, I've just been kind of unimpressed. But it makes sense considering Halo 4 is not a particularly beloved game. But where it started off poorly, it's gotten a lot better. To the point where I'd actually rank it above Halo 3 for the Lasso experience. Skyward Sword, I've only gotten to about maybe the halfway point. Again, I tend to pick up a lot of games and put them back down and never pick them back up. But Skyward Sword I've been playing the Switch port, and it's fun. I don't see why so many... I can get why a lot of people disliked this game, actually. Especially at the time, because the waggle controls is an annoying gimmick, and I'm glad that the Switch port does allow you to just play with the stick, but I feel like the stick just does not work nearly as well. And unfortunately, the Switch Joy-Cons, like gyro controls, don't match what the Wii was capable of. So I think I got to dock it a few points there, but it's a lot of fun. I definitely need to go back to it, but I think I'd put it... I think maybe top of B, simply because I feel like I need to experience the Wii port. Unrailed in basically like a series of games that me and my friends have picked up to play like a couple of times. It's fun, it's fine. Still feeling the sting of losing like a really far run that we got. But, like, I don't know. I think like a solid B tier, because I haven't got anything like egregious to really say about it. It's just a lot of fun. Balatro. Oh, where do I start? I saw this up for Game of the Year, recognized it from like maybe an Alpha Red Gold video. So I thought, okay, on this sort of list of pretty big hitters, the fact that Balatro is up here means that it's gotta be something. I bought it, played it for like maybe 3 hours straight until about 2 AM. And all I have to say is, it's good. Like, really good. Like, why does this refuse to work? Stringing Joker combos together is... Oh, it's so good. I end, like, every day, like, when I'm playing something, with maybe at least, like, 3 runs of Balatro at minimum. I will very often get addicted and just keep going. I cannot recommend it enough. It might be my perfect roguelike. And speaking of an addiction that I'd come up with, Neon White. Now, I will first and foremost say, the story for this fucking sucks. And the writing's awful too. But that doesn't matter. Because you are playing this game for its goddamn gameplay, and it excels in that. Actually, maybe the most addicted I got to a game, because Balatro, I kept playing it multiple times a day. Neon White, I would play it, and I would physically not move on until I got the best possible time I could. I grinded for those ace medals. I feel like I even got a little bit more enjoyment for trying to beat my friends' times. Going for the presents to get like all the other Neon's additional levels. Too much fun. Genuinely too much fun. The last 2 chapters especially, fantastic. Another game that I recommend that if you can, at least try it. Well, this is bad planning. I didn't even realise this, but I'm not even going to pretend again. Baldur's Gate is probably my game of the year. Now, I did play it a bit the year prior again, but this was the experience that I actually did it solo. Prior to that, I had played it co-op with 2 friends, then dropped down to 1 friend, and then we never completed it. We got to about Act 3 and stopped. About the beginning of this year, I finally actually started a solo character, and I could not put the game down. I think I only put it down to playing Mass Effect again for like the 6th time ever. But with the exception of Sonic Adventure 2, I played this game twice. The difference between that and Sonic Adventure 2 is that this is about maybe a 50-60 hour RPG, and I've done at least 2 characters. That is low compared to a lot of people that I've seen. But this game's almost perfect to me. It's so good. The character's fantastic. The conversion to D&D like rules to this was almost like it was immaculate. And it feels like so much love and care was put into everything. I'm very excited for all the subclasses that get added, and all the content they've added post-launch is great. I do just kind of wish they did a little bit more with, like, Will, at the very least. Like, maybe Karlach and Will. Astarion's gotten a bit too much of the spotlight, in my opinion, for such a minor character, really. But that's a nitpick. The game's goated. And to go from my favourite game of the year to probably my least favourite, I did not care for Chained Together. It was like kind of fun at the beginning, and then the dread set in maybe about City, where we weren't even halfway. We weren't even halfway, and I think we've been playing for an hour and a half. And like arguing with friends over like a missed jump, or like it wasn't just a shout or a scream. It was like it devolved quickly. The slight amount of joy that I would have had would have been jumping off right at the end, but I did not want all of that time to be for nothing. So I like a pussy, I walked through the gates, but really did not vibe with Chained Together, unfortunately. Ghostrunner, this kind of upset me, because this was a game that I was kind of looking forward to playing. In the same vein as Neon White, it's kind of like a speedrunny type game. But the level design just was not great. I was getting caught on all sorts of geometry, to the point where it just was not fun. The visual design, immaculate, and like the final level was really good because there was no bullshit just in the way stopping you. But no, kind of disappointed. Hopefully Ghostrunner 2 is a bit better. Space Marine 2, yeah, a lot of fun. I'm not too deep into the 40k stuff, though this has certainly made me want to learn more, just because I am so like sort of blind on most of the information. It's really satisfying to just sweep hordes of the Tyranids, I believe. I'm not a big fan of the multiplayer. It kind of sucks. Feels like strangely tacked on when they kind of, I feel like, should have focused more on the actual story. But yeah, it's fine. I haven't gotten too far in it, unfortunately. Again, you know, I pick up games and I put them down and never pick them back up again. So I'm not sure how much better or worse it does get, but whenever I jump back into it, you know, I hope it stays good. I'm gonna think I put it right here, I think. Classic Battlefront 2. Honestly, classic. No pun intended. It is just a damn solid game. I'm so happy to see that like the servers are still running strong. Did not play it much. Played a couple of matches, private matches, but just to have full lobbies was so cool. And then Battlefront 2 2017. I genuinely think this game's a lot of fun. It got so much better like post-launch. And the PC servers, again, are quite lively, apart from the side modes like Blast, which is unfortunate. They would have been a bit better to grind. the blaster kills, but it's whatever. The only experience that really ruined it for me was just the sheer abundance of hackers. There's so many. But I think for the experience I had, I've got to put it like high B. I think both were a lot of fun. Fortnite! This is specifically Chapter 5, Season 1, like the one at the beginning of last year, because that's the one I mainly played. It's fun. I feel like Fortnite is, to me, only gotten like better as time's gone on. Played it a lot about like maybe Season 2, 3, did not enjoy it. Came back maybe about Season 5, enjoyed it a bit more up to Season X, or Season 10, whatever people actually want to call it, I'm not sure. Stopped playing for ages. Came back and just enjoyed the game. I think Chapter 5 was a lot of fun. Unlocking Peter Griffin was funny as fuck. And I have developed a very slight skin addiction, but that's not too important. I just like running around as Goku going Super Saiyan every time I kill someone. It's, I think, the most fun in the world. It feels almost embarrassing to be this far in the list and kind of just say I don't have much to say about MGS. It still feels great, like, what, 25 years after its release, but I just have not played much. I got to about Sniper Wolf and have not returned. But, as old as it is, and it still feels this great, I gotta give it props. I've gotta give it props. So, this second Elden Ring slot is playing it on keyboard and mouse. Now, I've heard horror stories of playing the Souls games on keyboard and mouse, how they just do not work. And yeah, they were certainly designed with a controller in mind. But it really wasn't that bad. In fact, at some points, it was kind of fun, don't get me wrong. It was not entirely fun, but I expected it to be, like, way worse. Way worse. But at the end of the day, it was just Elden Ring. So I can't put it low. I think I'll definitely put it here. Shadow of the Erdtree. Okay, 1. It should not have been up for the Game of the Year. Ignore the fact that it's considered its own game in this list. It should not have been up for Game of the Year. It is an expansion. 2. Yeah, it was fine. Like, I think it has some of the more annoying bosses in Elden Ring. Like Gaius, R'Lana, Midra, Ymir, and certainly Radahn. Like, wow. I don't like this expansion's bosses all too much. But then at the same time, I think it has some of the best bosses in the series. Like, Bale and Messmer, fantastic. Easily 2 of Elden Ring's best bosses, if not 2 of like some of the series' best as well. Definitely Messmer. But yeah, honestly, I initially hated it, but I found myself enjoying it overall. Enjoying it more than I was annoyed by it. So I think I'll certainly put it right next to Elden Ring there. And, oh, whoops. I've left the top 5 slots with 4 left and there's only a game left. Yeah. Dragon Age Origins, I do think is BioWare writing at its best. That and Mass Effect 1, easily. I'm going to leave this description a little bit brief, as to tease an upcoming video I'm working on. But, simply put, yeah. Dragon Age Origins, I think, rounds out the top 5. Well, there it is. Everything brand new that I'd played this year. No, it's not very fair that I put my 6 straight playthroughs of Mass Effect up there with everything else. It'd obviously win. And it's not a perfect list, I'm as upset as you are that Overwatch 2's there. And certainly beating to Marvel Rivals, but I gotta be fair, I keep coming back to Overwatch 2 like an abusive relationship, so... But, all I have to say is, thank you for watching. feel free to leave a little like. And maybe subscribe if you're feeling a little bit cheeky. And if you do subscribe, keep your eyes peeled for that Dragon Age video. See ya.